I caught my tow truck.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Alrighty, what is up, guys? Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and I'm going to start this video off with a new motor. So behind me is a motor I just picked up from JDM Place of Houston. They've been very helpful to me. I've been there 3 times now, and I got a motor from them that's in my other Subaru. You can see it right there, the one I turboed. And so today I'm going to fix the Forester that I bought for 480 bucks that had a Titanic motor in it that's just been sitting in my yard right here for a while. So hopefully I don't need too many parts off of that, because as you see, it's been in the dirt. So right here is a dual overhead cam EJ25. I don't know what the third, I don't know if this is like a EJ25Y, EJ255, I don't know what one this is, but I just picked this up for 750 bucks. Technically like 682 plus tax, because I was like, I have 750 bucks and that is it. And so they had to, there's like $50 in tax. I don't know why it's so expensive, but there's a lot of tax. So other than that, here is the motor. It is honestly really fucking clean. You can see everything just looks really nice, and it had this weird thing on it. I don't know what this is, but it had that on it, and I think that's kind of cool. So it wasn't right there, it was inside. But other than that, here's the motor, really clean. So what the first thing I need to do is pull the Cressida out so I can pull the Forester. It's been sitting in my backyard with no motor in it for a while. Everything's just in the rest of the car. So let me go ahead and pull the Cressida out. So the Forester's in the backyard right here, and I need to pull it all the way around with my Subaru. So I'm gonna have to go get Lena to get in the car so she can steer it, so I don't have to keep getting out. Oh my god, that's fucking light. But anyways, it has just been sitting here. Oh my god, that fucking hood's heavy. And so here's the setup, and everything is just in the back. You can see timing covers, battery, throttle body, then here's the intake, manifold, other head, radiator, yada yada. So I have to pull it up. So I pulled the car up and all I need to do now is push it in, but I'm gonna re-power wash it. Since the engine bay is open, you can see all the sand and shit back there, and I left it over here so all the water gets there. So I'm gonna pull the power washer up and clean that up. Alright, the motor didn't clean up that much because it wasn't that dirty, but I could get a lot of the sand and stuff off. As you can see, that was all sandy and black, and so is some of that. So it's looking a little bit better, and so now I can try to push it. I might need a little help just because it's muddy right there. And then once I'm in, I am in and I'm good. Alright, so I got my table all cleaned off, my motor on the stand, ready to be torn apart, and then the car pushed the rest of the way in. The main thing is I got to figure out the differences between this one and the old motor. And the first thing I see, which I hope isn't an issue, is you see the intake, how it's short, and then it's got this other plate that it goes on. Well, the manifold in the back, which is where it's at right now, you can see it's long and doesn't have that plate. It just bolts straight to the head instead of to that plate. And so I hope I don't have to take the heads off of this one, just because first of all it was a bitch, and second of all this one's been outside unattached. The other one is inside the back also. So there's the EJ25D heads, you can see that one right there. It was honestly a bitch, and I don't want to have to take it apart. So I hope it just bolts right on, and it'll be a semi-easy swap, because I don't like fucking with dual overhead cam, because it's just more work. So I guess I'll go ahead and start taking everything off. So I have it pretty much torn down, and so far the only thing I've noticed is it has a cam sensor back there, and the other intake manifold doesn't have it, so I don't know if I need it. What I'm going to do is take it out and test fit it and see if it fits. The other thing, it didn't have this. That's hard. That has a sensor, so I'm not really going to mess with that. And the other thing was it had EGR, which this one doesn't, so I'm going to have to delete that. And the only problem is there's a whole unit right there, so the check engine light may be on. So that may be an issue, but as long as it starts, runs, and drives normally, that's all that matters. So let me go test fit that. So if you see, it lines up there, but then the bolts are in the front on the head, and the bolts are in the back right there. And then this other side, same thing. So this is different. I don't know if it's even possible to use that intake manifold on it. I'll have to look up, but what sucks is I don't know the thing of the motor, and everything's in fucking Japanese. So I don't know what other style this motor is, so I'll have to figure that out. So unfortunately I gotta take the heads off, and I have these stupid Allen head things. I always watch videos on forums and stuff of people asking how the hell do I get this off, and now I'm finally dealing with it, so it's gonna suck. I do have to take the heads off, of course, because I don't want to try to use the stock. The only thing I'd be able to do is if I use the stock harness, but I already messed the timing up. Because I was seeing if I could loosen it with the flywheel block, then I ended up skipping a tooth anyway, so I'm pretty much just winging it from here on. And I got the air hose out with the air tank, and I'm gonna see if my air impact gun can get it off. I had a 1 1/8 inch wrench on the cam, and then I was able to pop it loose, and now she's off, and time to do it to the other fucking three. So I got both heads off. It was not as bad as I thought. For that side, it was pretty easy because I could use the same wrench. For this side, I had to use a 1 1/16 wrench on this little part right here because that part was too far in, and you can't take that piece off until that cover's off. So if the cover's not on, you can get to it. But anyways, the inside of the motor looks really good actually. You still have a lot of cross hatching. I don't know what the compression was. I didn't test it, but the head gasket looks good. There's a little bit of carbon buildup here, as you can see. JDM as fuck air filter, and so far, I mean, everything's done. I have to take the head off of that motor, and I have the other head from that motor, so I'm just gonna go ahead and swap everything on now, I guess. Just go ahead and get into it. What time is it? It is 4:20 right now, and I think I got home at 3, so in an hour and 20 minutes I got the motor fully torn down. So let's hope it goes back together as easy as it did coming apart, because then I'll be good technically. So let me get back to it. So on the new head, it is a little rusty on the valve, but it's not that bad. So I'm kind of just in a fuck it type of mood. I don't know why, but I'm just gonna throw it on and hope it works. It seems to be sealing just fine, but there's no telling, and this is stressing me the fuck out. So let's just hope it works so I can throw this motor in. All right, I got both heads on, and I hope everything is going to work out well. I need to obviously get it in time, but everything is attached, so I had to clean up my mess and move all my shit over there. I moved it over here because I was trying to use the air impact to take it off, but it didn't work. But anyway, so I'm gonna move this over there and clean this up. All right, so the first time I've ever done timing on a dual overhead cam, and I had no marks to go off of. So you see the 2 dotted line goes with the other 2 dotted line that you can barely see. That line goes with the top, the line on the side goes with that notch. This goes with that notch up there. That line goes with that notch. That double line goes with that double line. That line goes with that notch. And I cycled it over twice and everything seems fine. There's no way to really know until it's like, you know, trying to start. But other than that, I got it my first try, so I hope it's correct. And so now I guess it's time to put the rest of the motor together. And the back, that has a flex plate. This is the thing, other than the head and on the head gasket, this is the thing I'm the most worried about also. You see the clutch and the flywheel is on there. I'm not sure how bad they are, but first of all, it's covered in mud, and second of all, it's like old and rusty, so there's no telling if that's actually gonna work. But for now, I'm gonna go eat because it is like 6 o'clock and I have not ate one thing today, and I've been fucking going ham on this bitch lately, so I'm going and take a break. So I put the intake on, hooked everything up. I'm working on a throttle body. I'm trying to figure out where everything goes, because I don't know if this coolant line goes there or what goes there. I don't know if that goes there or whatever, but I took these spark plugs out of the donor motor, and they look almost brand new, and they're iridium NGKs. So these are pure JDM iridium, so or Denso, I guess. So let's put them in. So these spark plug wires on the old intake manifold are fucked, but the ones that came on the donor motor are good, except the only difference is how they go on. Because see, these slip over the coil pack, and I can't take that coil pack because the plug's different than this one. So what I'm doing is, you see this one, all I did is cut. See if I can pull it off real quick. I cut this, and so then all I gotta do is twist it, and then I get the exposed part, and then this part plugs in, and then this part plugs in, and they're a little bit longer, which isn't really an issue. But so you see the flex plate on the new motor. Well, I took the flywheel, pressure plate, and clutch off the old motor, and the clutch looks slightly burnt, like it's probably got about 30-40% left in its life, but this is not a permanent solution. This is just temporary. But see, this is the flywheel, and it looks pretty good. It's not barely grooved. I just kind of cleaned it off real quick. Pressure plate looks decent, lots of surface rust on it and stuff, but all the springs are intact. The only thing I'm worried about is the clutch disc, but There's the flooded motor. I used a wire wheel on that if you watched the last Project Forester build, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean these up, and then I'm gonna have to put it on the hoist to put the back piece on, and then I don't know what else I need to do, but technically I can drop it in. My camera's about to die, but let's hope everything works, because I've been working my ass off literally all day. So I got the old clutch pressure plate flywheel put on, and now it's just a matter of dropping in and seeing if it works. I am very, very nervous, but I'm also still in that don't give a fuck attitude. So let's hope if I can get very lucky and have this work, since nothing else in my life wants to. Transmission. Now it's time to drop her in the mount. For shits and giggles and see if anything happens. So, Lena has the seat pushed all the way forward. It's not in gear, e-brake's up. I see some lights on. Well, it's cranking, which is nice. To be honest, I did not expect that to start, and I did it again a second time, and I put it in gear and it moved forward and backwards. So I know it works, but I still don't know if it's gonna overheat or not, because I obviously don't have anything hooked up. But yeah, it was smoking a lot with no exhaust and everything. So it's a few days later now, and I was driving the Forester around a little bit, and I got a haircut, but I was driving the Forester around, and it was being really fine until like it was like probably 20 minutes later, it started overheating really bad. So I pulled up, and it was like just shooting coolant out of somewhere. So underneath the intake manifold is a leak. If I blow into the radiator, you can hear it. If you hear that little hissing, that's where it's leaking from. So I'm just gonna take the intake manifold off and then fix that coolant line. But other than that, it was driving really nice. And yeah, so I was kind of really surprised. It was idling fine. The AC heater power steering worked, and this thing's a fucking boat too. I felt like I was about to flip over. But I'm just gonna go ahead and fix that real quick, and then this thing should be ready to get back on the road. So it turns out it was this little thing right here. You can see there's a line and it went through the throttle body and it was leaking right there. So I don't know what that was. So I just put a hose on it. And so now it's open and you can hear when I blow into this hose. That's where it was leaking from. And so I don't know what the fuck that is, but I just kind of bypassed it. So I hope it'll do good. So if anybody knows what that is, this little box right here with the little plug on it, please let me know, even if it's like 2 years in the fucking future, just so, you know, other people can know and just so I can know, because I don't know what the fuck that is. So other than that, I'm just gonna put everything back together because I only had to take off the throttle body and then we'll drive it around. So she's done. Let's go fill her up with some water. There we go. Time to back her up. Love this power steering. I'm just gonna pull her up right in the yard and fill her up with some water. So she started getting warm again, and I got out of the car and I felt the upper radiator hose and it felt warm, and I felt the bottom radiator hose and it felt cold. And if anybody knows what that means, it means the thermostat. So this was a thermostat in the JDM block, so there's no telling how old that was or how long it's been sitting for. Take 3. I am now choking this bitch with water. And the water is clean because if you see that little white thing behind the tree there, that is a well that is 600 feet in the ground. So all this, we literally drink this water and it tastes just fine. So it doesn't have to fucking be distilled, all right? All right, so the speedometer doesn't work, just like it doesn't work in my other Subaru. And that means no miles. So this bitch, will always stay at 177,448 miles, which is fucking pretty high up there, but it's nice that it won't get any higher. And these people are wondering why the fuck I was probably in a graveyard, but she hasn't even gotten up to temperature yet, and she's been driving just as long as I was driving it earlier. So that's actually really good. So I'm glad that's all my issues. I have yet to get it up to speed, but the other thing is it does this. It like maxes out at 45, so I don't know if that's something to do with the check engine light or what, but oop, damn, she fucking dropped low. But other than that, that's it. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and end it right here. I literally put this car together in a day and it took me a little longer to fix it. Oh, and now look at what's happening to it. It's fucking dropping down and back and whatever. Anyways, so it literally took me a day to fix this. I bought the motor and got home at about 2 o'clock, and I had the car running by 9, and then I had to tweak a few things the next day because I was tired of fucking working on it. But that's that. So thanks for watching the Project Car Fail Fix in a Day, Not the Right Way video. Follow both my socials, my personal Instagram and the page Instagram. And I got people behind me. All right, later.